Welcome to the A2Schools podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cluley, Director of Communications here at the Ann Arbor Public Schools. Joined as always with our Superintendent, Dr. Swift. Thanks for being here today.
Well, good afternoon. It's great to be here.
And we're also joined by Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources and Employee Relations, John Randle. Thanks for joining us, John.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, as you might imagine, since we have the HR guy here, we're going to be talking a little bit about employment and whatnot. Mr. Randle just started with the AAPS this summer. So first of all, just welcome to the district.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here. I'm happy to be here. This is one of the most exciting opportunities I've had in a long time. I've worked in the HR function for 20 plus years, and I will say that working with in a school district like Ann Arbor Public Schools is amazing because you literally get to change the future through these young people. So I'm very excited. I've worked in manufacturing, built cars, built consumer products, but cars get destroyed, but people, they live on and they make impact on other people. So I'm very excited to be here.
It's so exciting, John, to hear you. When I recall, the team and I were in multiple rounds of interviews early last summer, and I remember you saying that you wanted to make Ann Arbor Public Schools an employer of choice. And those words stuck with us because we felt like this was just the right time and you were the right talent. And we were looking for a talent to lead us in getting more talent. So I love that cycle and that you get to be on the front row, so to speak, during this time of changeover in education.
Yeah, absolutely. And, an employer of choice, and I just want to break that down for the listeners, what an employer of choice is. I mean, that's an organization that people want to work for. That's an organization that people are willing to leave their current employer. Maybe they've been there for several years, to say, I want to be a part of what they're doing. And I want to be a part of making those type of changes that they're involved in. So my goal is to make Ann Arbor Public Schools, from an HR standpoint, that environment where people are listened to, they feel they can operate with dignity and respect, and a place where we practice what we preach.
And I'm assuming some of those are philosophies that it doesn't matter if you're at a manufacturing plant or if you're working for a city government or working for a school district. Those aren't the what you're doing, but it's what the environment is about. Is that what you're talking about here?
Yep. That's interesting that you said all those things, Andrew, because I've worked in all of those industries, and absolutely, it's about walking the talk. I mean, doing what you said you're going to do, being engaged with your employees, making sure that they understand that they are the most important tool, if you will, that the organization has. And as well, this environment, we get to focus on young people. We get to focus on the children of tomorrow. Many of our employees have children in this district, which puts their investment in the success of Ann Arbor Public School to another level, because they are, again, practicing what they preach and walking the talk.
Well, as you look to make Ann Arbor Public Schools the employer of choice, we also are in an environment right now where I know that there's some positions in all sorts of fields that are having a hard time finding workers in getting those jobs filled. And I don't believe education is any different. What are the challenges that we're seeing right now in terms of bringing people in?
A very good question. Dr. Swift has heard me use this term before, and I'll use it again for the listeners. There's a war for talent. Okay, there is literally everybody's putting their best foot forward to get people in the door. But once they're in the door, what are you doing to keep them is the challenge, I think, that we have now and what we'll face in the future. Are your leaders engaged? I mean, it's going to sound cliche. You've probably heard this before, but individuals don't leave the organization. They leave their supervisor. And if we don't build leaders in this organization that are equipped to deal with their employee challenges, they're going to leave and go to an organization doing the same work, having the same challenges, and probably even be less happy, but they left. So we want, as your HR leader, I want to make sure that I'm helping to eliminate a lot of those challenges so that people break down those barriers so people, again, want to work here, want to stay here. So those are some of the challenges that we have. Convincing individuals that, hey, this is the place, give us a chance. You'll be happy here. And, and then from there, keeping them engaged.
Are we seeing trends in terms of as we're coming out of this, peak pandemic, in terms of people that are leaving the education field and people coming into the education field?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think so. In education, there's a whole gamut, whole spectrum of positions. I mean, you have administrators, principals, assistant principals. You have the staff. You have the paraprofessionals that we are very, very excited about having support our young people. So you have a whole gamut of people that work here. So the trend that I'm seeing is that some of those individuals see challenges with their work, and we have to help them work through them. That's probably not the best answer, but I mean, I think from what I'm seeing, we have to help them work through those challenges, and then I think we'll be fine as an employer.
So just in the same way that it's our work to support students in learning and growing, it sounds like, John, our work is also to support our team in learning and growing and making sure it's a learning environment. People forget, unless they're in schools every day, but education is a people-dense environment. We're not producing widgets. We've got children and students. And so there are lots of individuals in many roles inside a school and then supporting the school in carrying out that work. So I'm not sure that many HR directors have the density of people per square feet, so to speak, that we do in a school district. Do you think?
Absolutely, I agree. So I've done some research. I'm actually a PhD student in educational psychology, and it's just a perfect environment for me to be in. But if we do this thing right, if we educate these young people correctly in Ann Arbor Public Schools, we're building the workforce of the future. So we're building we're building this plane while we're flying it, right? And I think again, that's another thing that makes me so excited about seeing what we're producing. Dr. Swift is she's been with the district for 10 years, so right somewhere around there.
Almost, yeah.
And so you've seen almost a kindergartner, or first or second grader go through the school district, and then now it's time to see the fruits of their labor. You're probably going to start seeing some people that are coming back into this organization that were students here. And if we did everything right, we've done our job.
Yes.
I remember when the new teacher hires came in this year, we had a group of, I think it was 7 or 8 that were AAPS alums, and they come back home and said, "Yep, I want to be teaching and give the experiences that they got to the next generation." And that's very exciting, isn't it?
It's so exciting, and they weren't just alums. Several of them were children of teachers in the system. So how exciting is that?
Yeah, that means a lot. That means a whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your couple of months here with the Ann Arbor Public Schools, Mr. Randle, what have you seen in terms of things that you really think that the district is standing out and is already doing a really good job on in terms of that becoming the employer of choice?
Sure. So a lot of times, especially lately, you've probably heard the terms diversity, equity, and inclusion. and it's presented in so many different ways. It's packaged in different ways. But I think one of the things that stands out for me with regard to Ann Arbor Public Schools and what I've seen is the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion amongst employees and amongst the students. And when I say that, I mean, for example, I think about my interview panel. When I walked in, and it was intimidating because there was a lot of people in there, but when I walked in that room and I saw, administrators and union people and Black people and Asian people, and I said, if this is what Ann Arbor Public Schools has to offer, I want to be a part of that. So I see we're practicing what we're preaching. Okay, look at the principals. Look at the assistant principals. Look at the staff. Beautifully diverse, and that doesn't happen through osmosis. That is intentional. And you add the success we're having with test scores and learning and all of those things. We're doing a lot of right things. We're doing a lot of right things here.
I love that. Thank you.
Well, that's definitely some good news, and that brings us to the next segment. That's the good news in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. This week, we're going to celebrate French teacher Marci Harris from Community High School, because just last week, the Michigan World Language Association named her the Barbara Ort-Smith Award winner for this year. And that is apparently the most prestigious award a professional in the field of world languages can receive in the state of Michigan. So congratulations to Marci Harris. And the award is based off of strong commitment to the profession, showing leadership and the promotion of excellence in world language education. And I know Dr. Swift, Marci Harris has been with the district for a while, doing a lot of great things.
She really has. And I'm just so delighted to offer our congratulations to Marci Harris. She is world language teacher extraordinaire. She's a leader among leaders and leads that team. Providing leadership at the state level and at the district level. Folks may not realize it because she looks so young, but she actually started in Ann Arbor Public Schools in August of 1995. She's probably not going to be happy with me for sharing that date, but Marci is a veteran. She is an extraordinary educator. She cares about children and really has worked to keep our world language practice. And we offer 7 world languages and then additional languages through Rec and Ed. We offer languages all the way through the AP level. So we have a world-class program, and Marci is a rock star among that group. And I have to say, you all may not remember, but I was a world language teacher. So I have that special kinship to just know that it is a challenging role. And we're so proud of Marci and this award.
And she's done a balance of, she's been at the middle school level, she's been at the high school level, she worked as a curriculum coordinator for the world languages at the district level. I know that there's a lot of people listening to this that either they went or they had a child who went on the trips to Quebec that she would always take the students to. And she's, as you said, it's not just about us. She's gone on beyond that. She served as the head of the Michigan World Language Association for a year, and she's coming up. She's going to be doing some work for the Central States Council on teaching of foreign languages as the program chair in 2024. So she's making that difference about sharing the love of a foreign language, which is such a valuable thing. Not just to AAPS students, but the greater community is benefiting.
Exactly. And we'll be remiss if we don't give a shout out to Community High School, her current home for teaching. Marci has taught in the district for many years and at many locations, but is currently at Community High School.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Randle, for joining us for the podcast today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's great to have you.
And Dr. Swift, thank you.
Wonderful to be here, and just grateful to everyone for such a strong start this school year, and we're approaching the end of the first quarter. So great to be here today, and thank you.
And thank you for listening to the A2Schools podcast. As always, if you have any questions about the Ann Arbor Public Schools, first place to go to try and get some answers is a2schools.org, our website. And if you have a specific topic that you'd like to hear about more on an upcoming A2Schools podcast, or just a question you'd like to have answered on the podcast, don't hesitate to email communications@a2schools.org. And thank you again for listening to this week's edition of the A2Schools podcast.